Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today I have the good fortune to be joined by Boomy Tokan with over 300,000 students across 49 courses on Udemy, 8 million views on Quora, and experience mentoring over 1,000 businesses. He has spent decades teaching and guiding entrepreneurs how to start and grow businesses effectively. His latest book, The Adaptive Startup System, provides a step-by-step guide to launching and scaling a business by leveraging existing resources rather than waiting for perfect conditions. Boomy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Seth. It's my pleasure to be here.
It is our pleasure to have you. Let's go back in time. How did you get started?
That's that's about going back many years. I started, the first time I would think that I can say that I really got going in business was when I started a record distribution company. And that began because I worked for a record distributor and I outsold all their sales guys there, and I was expecting to be hired. And I was told, sorry, we still don't have a job for you. So I thought, you know what, let me start my own. And without any major or massive experience, I went out and I began what was called Sledge Record Distribution. And that lasted for about 6 or 7 years. And it helped me to transition into lecturing at a university because I was teaching on music business. So that is a very profound start, I would say.
Yes, very profound indeed. How did you start working with other businesses?
When I was working as a lecturer, I also got the opportunity to teach in a government agency at the time called the Portobello Business Center in West London. I was told to come and lecture on music business. So I taught there for, I think, about 2 years. Then I was now asked to design courses for general business. So that's how I became an advisor to general business as well as music business. And as time went on, I moved more into general business than music. I left the music business and I moved into general business because I found it even more interesting than just sticking to music business.
Understood. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Then what inspired you to start writing books? You've written a lot.
The very first time I remember writing a book was when Amazon Kindle came out. This must have been about 2014, in 2025 now, 2014. And it was one of my neighbors that actually asked me if I could write. She just said to me one day, she said, "Oh, Boomy, do you write? Because I've been writing these cooking books and I'm selling lots of them on Amazon." I'm like, "What's that? How do you do that?" That's how that began. And I worked with her for a few years writing so many books. And I actually enjoy writing, to be honest.
That is amazing. You've written so many books on so many different topics, not just business. There's also some faith-based topics as well.
Yeah.
How does that inform your business practices?
A lot. It informs us a lot. I read the Bible I read the Bible every day. So that kind of helps me to orchestrate my thinking towards a particular area of life, which is that God wants everybody to prosper in what they do. So it really does help me to give myself to serve my clients and the businesses that I work with. So yeah, it impacts it a lot.
Awesome. What is the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make when starting out, and how can we avoid that?
I think the biggest, actually, as I was going to say that, I thought, okay, there's another one. There are two things that I think entrepreneurs need to avoid. The first is that if they're starting in business, they tend to look at it as they don't have enough. Either they don't have enough money, they don't have enough connections, they don't know enough. That hinders them from starting. So you should avoid that. The second one, which may sound really peculiar, is sometimes entrepreneurs have too much money. And I've noticed that people have too much money. They throw money at problems which they should solve with ideas.
That's a good quote.
Yeah, I remember this particular example always comes to mind. There was a lady I met when I was working in the music business. She had spent £100,000 and she had not sold one single recording.
Wow.
Yeah, she had spent close to 100,000 on studio bills, on traveling, on makeup artists, on clothing, on producers, on videos, but she had not sold anything and she wasn't supposed to be singing, she was supposed to be writing. So that always stuck with me. I'm like, okay, how much money do you think you need? And people always overestimate how much money they need. And so, yeah, sometimes having too much money, not in all cases, but with some cases, it just ruins the business idea rather than help it.
Absolutely. You've got a proven system to help identify business ideas that are going to actually work. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Okay, when ChatGPT came out and I started using the paid version, I transitioned very quickly from the free version to the paid version. And I discovered that it had some GPTs that you can actually customize, or you could customize ChatGPT. So I created this customized GPT that when you load up your gifts and your skills and your interests, it will generate 20 business ideas that fits with who you are. I sent it out to some people to use and they found it incredibly useful because it gave them ideas they never thought of. And also many of the ideas given were those that they were thinking about but weren't sure about. So that's one way for sure that it would help you, that helps people to start businesses that fits with who they are, as opposed to something they just picked up on an advert. And I think it's more important for you to do what you enjoy and get paid for it than to do something just because it's a trend.
I think that makes a lot of sense. We see a lot of people going, I want to do that. I'm going to go after that market. I'm going to sell that product. Why? Because it's hot right now.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to chase the next thing. There's no real passion for actually serving that market.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is the adaptive startup system?
The adaptive startup system is a system that merges two very important elements. One is the adaptive entrepreneurship, and the second is actually the framework, which is the adaptive framework, which is the system. Okay, what that means is adaptive entrepreneurship says you should be flexible, you have enough contacts, you have enough money to start or to get to your next level. The adaptive framework says, okay, these are the steps you need to take if you want to succeed. So that's why it's called the adaptive startup system, because it's using adaptive philosophy to actually start and launch or grow a business.
You've helped over 1,000 businesses directly. Yeah. What have been some of the most surprising things you've seen?
I think the one that still tops is at one time in my church, actually, I asked people to start a business with £10. So I gave about 20 people at the time, I gave them £10 each and said, start a business with £10 and see how it goes. And some people were reluctant, but anyway, quite a few of them started something. And this lady started baking what she called bread, but it was actually more like a cake. And she was selling it for about £5 or £10 at the time. And she was making some money, but it was slow. Then she changed to making meat pies. And for some reason, that just took off. And she began to supply not only meat pies to people, obviously, in the community, she was supplying meat pies to shops. Then it became her regular business. And a few years ago, not too long ago, she told me that she saved enough money to actually buy a house.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, this stuff does work.
Absolutely.
That was shocking.
300,000 students on 49 courses on Udemy and 8 million views on Quora. How'd you do it?
The 8 million views on Quora was an idea I had in my head a few years ago now, maybe about 5 years ago. I thought, what is it like to actually have 1 million views? I'd been on YouTube for years and didn't have 1 million views. So I was like, okay, what will it feel like to actually have 1 million views on something online? So I thought, I like writing, so I should write for Quora, and I like Quora. And so I began writing, and I was writing. I said to myself, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to reply at least one question on Quora every single day. So that's what I did. Whether I'm tired or not, I will make sure I reply at least 1 or 2 questions every single day. And so some of my answers were quite sophisticated in terms of number of words that I use. So some I would answer with about, 2,500 words. Some would be 1,000 words, some with 500. Anyway, so I did that for 1 year. After a year, I didn't hit the 1 million, which I wanted, but I hit around about 600,000. So I thought, you know what? I'm not writing anymore. I just left it. A year and a half, I hit 1 million. A year after that, I hit 3 million. And it just keeps going up and up. Now it's 9 million views. And I don't write on Quora anymore. I've kind of achieved.
Well, it sounds like your evergreen content there is working for you.
It is. It just keeps getting views, and I don't need to do anything. And Quora has they have a monetization, so I get small amount of money. But yeah.
That is an absolutely incredible story and a number of marketing lessons in that. So where can our folks go to get a copy of the book, The Adaptive Business System? Where can they where on Udemy do they go, on Quora? Like, where are all the best places to learn all about Boomy?
Okay, yeah, you can definitely go on my Udemy courses. You can hear about me and learn about me there, or you can come to my website, which is startyourownbusinessacademy.com. Startyourownbusinessacademy.com, and you can purchase the book from there. Otherwise, you'll pay exorbitant amount on Amazon if you go there.
Now I got to know, what is the Start Your Own Business Academy?
Start Your Own Business Academy is actually evolving to become a school. It will be in the next few months. We're working on something to make it. It's where I have a lot of my content, and I've got Start Your Own Business Academy website, Start Your Own Business Academy on YouTube, where I put out all my content so people can learn who I am and also how I can help them.
Your passion is obvious. What do you like about what you're doing?
Being able to help people achieve their dreams of starting their own business and a business they love.
You've achieved so much success for yourself and for your students. What's your biggest challenge now?
Still trying to get people to, in the process of starting a business, getting people to choose a niche. It's still a problem. I'm like, what can I say? Why don't you want to choose a particular group of people you want to work with first and then go general? People want to go general first before they choose a niche. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work for me that way. I don't believe that's the way it should work. But maybe, Seth, you might have a different view. Who knows?
No, the first question we ask at any marketing consultation is, who's your ideal client? And we spend more time helping them define that, because if you get that right, everything else is a lot easier.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's one of my challenges.
Awesome. We greatly appreciate your time. We know it's incredibly valuable. This has been Seth Greene with Boomy Tokan. Go check out the Start Your Own Business Academy. Get the book, The Adaptive Business System. Check out the courses on Udemy and YouTube and everywhere else. Boomy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Seth.
Thank you, everyone, for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.